Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me today for a card making tutorial to make a little variation on this card. So I really love florals, and even better, I love it when we have punches that coordinate with those stamps so that we can create these lovely dimensional flowers. I think that's really super cool. And having just experienced our onstage event for demonstrators, we get to have an early peek at the new catalogue, and there is more to come, which is even better. So that's really cool. And I'm bringing in a couple of my favourite embellishments here, using these foil, sorry, that's not foil at all, that's vellum, square vellum doilies. Really pretty, so really like those. And this is what we're doing. The colour combination, by the way, I have borrowed from Vicky Lou Designs. So she does a colour challenge, creative colour challenge blog, and I had been taking part in that, but I just ran out of time to make a project for this most recent combo, which was Evening Evergreen, Night of Navy and Fresh Freesia. Okay, so there'll be a new one coming out tomorrow for her, so do check that out. So that's where I got my colour combination from, and I think it works really nicely. I think for the Fresh Freesia and Night of Navy in particular are a very lovely combination. Okay, so we're going to recreate the card then. The stamp sets I'm using are Sweet Strawberry, that's for the sentiment and the small flower. And then we've got the coordinating punch, the strawberry builder punch, to punch out the flower. Okay. And then I've also got Flowers of Friendship, and we're just using the smaller flower out of here. And of course we've got some sentiments on here that could work equally well with the layout, so you know, use what you've got. And that has a coordinating punch as well. This is the Flowers and Leaves punch, so that will cut out our flower for us. Okay, so that's what we're using in the first instance. So let's get cracking. Just got a plain white card base ready to go for when we have got everything ready. I've already punched out ahead of time 3 sprigs. These are totally optional. You could do them in vellum as well if you wanted to, or a coordinating colour in the cardstock, but I've just done it in basic white. So that's the sprig punch, another real favourite of mine. It's a great punch just to add some sort of detail. And I've also punched one of the ovals from the double oval punch, ready to receive our sentiment. So let's get our sentiment done. So I've just got a scrap of paper here, that's basic white, and I'm going to use Evening Evergreen to stamp the hello there, right in the middle of there. So just firm and even pressure, don't rock your block, up and lift. And the photopolymer stamp sets, fantastic, well they're all fantastic quality, but the photopolymer is superb quality. Get a really nice crisp impression, which is not always the case with photopolymer stamp sets. They use very good quality material which takes the ink beautifully. And then we're going to use the smaller oval there just to punch that out. Get rid of our little scraps there. Just going to take my Stampin' Seal adhesive and run that across the back there, and just layer that onto the plain oval. So we're just doing white on white layering. Now of course you could introduce a colour here if you wanted to, but I'm sticking with the white on white. And in preparation for adding that to the card, I'm just going to pop a couple of dimensionals on the back of there to get that ready to go. Okay, so more strips of card then. Little teeny tiny piece here for the small flower from Sweet Strawberry, which we did in Fresh Freesia on the sample, but we're going to switch to Night of Navy for this card. So again, you know, ink pad open, just light tapping on the ink pad, and this is just about going to squeeze on here, I think. So this is quite literally a scrap from my little scrap bin that I have on my desk. Am I going to squeeze this other one in? It's a bit tight. Let's just grab another. So I'm very frugal. But we've got the scraps. I want to use them up. Okay, just cleaning that off on the chamois. Okay, and then we can bring in the punch. So the flower is just here. So I found it easier with this one because I'm left-handed to hold it this way around. If you're a right-handed person, I think you'll probably find that it's easy to slot it in that way. But I'm just twizzling my punch around so that I can line that up around that little image there. And even though there's other other images or cutouts that we could make with that punch, by just punching them on a strip like this, you can just work your way along. This one, it doesn't matter which way round the stamped image sits. Just going to work your way across. So that one's just got a bit close to the corner, so it has just cut off the bottom of that flower, but once we've applied it onto the card, I'm sure we can hide that little error. And if you really need to, you can just stamp another one. Okay, so that's those done. We just want to make sure all the little scraps are out of your punch, ready for your next project. So we'll just get rid of those little things off the desk, otherwise they'll end up stuck to elbows and goodness knows what. So that's 5 of those all done. And then I've got another strip for the Flowers of Friendship, the Flower Leaves punch. Fresh Freesia there. Now this is a red rubber stamp, so you can't see through it. So again, with this one, we're going to be stamping on a strip and feeding it along. But what I want to do is make sure that my image is well spaced, because we don't want this to punch into the next image along. So I'm going to have those quite well spread out onto the on this strip. So I'm going to do one at each end and then one in the middle, and that should be sufficient. And I've just realised I haven't done a step on my other flowers, but it's fine, we'll do it at the end. So that was Fresh Freesia. So again, we're going to come across with this punch. So that leaf now isn't going to interfere with that next image along. So it's just something to bear in mind when you've got these punches that cut out multiple shapes at the same time. Okay, alright, very much depends on the design, and it's just worthwhile just bearing it in mind. So, okay, just take your time to line that up. It looks like it should be, it's very cleverly drawn in that the petals look different. It doesn't actually matter what orientation you stamp it to line up with the punch. The punch is actually symmetrical. So there you go. Right, so there's bits of paper flying all over the place from there, which I just need to gather up. It's going pinging around all over the place. So just for a little bit of extra something, we're just going to grab our Wink of Stella and just add some little bit of bling onto there. This is super subtle and won't come across terribly well on the camera. recipient will obviously be able to see that. And with these darker flowers, you'll find that the ink will run a little bit, and we can sort of use it to add a little bit of colour. So what I'm doing is pulling that from the centre into the petals. I'll hold them up to show you in a moment. If you do this straight after you've stamped them, you'll get more movement in your ink while it's still quite wet. And if you leave it to dry, oh, let's get that to focus. So hopefully you can see that that's added a little bit of colour onto there. I don't know whether you can see any twinkly detail, but it is there, or just about, I think. So there we have that. And then you just want to shape your flowers with something, so the end of a pencil, or something like that. Let's use the end of a pencil. So all I'm going to do is press that into the palm of my hand with my lovely pencil. This was in a swap that I received, and I've been using it avidly. I think it might have been from Heather Forgan. He stamped with Nellie. She's in our project share that we do on a Thursday. It may not have been. I just got this feeling it was. Okay, so this is just perfect just to press into the palm of your hand. Obviously, if you have problems with your hands, this probably isn't the best, but you could do it onto a mouse mat, or something spongy, just to help you give some shape to your card. Next thing we're going to do is take one of our vellum doilies. These come in a pack of 24, so there's loads and loads in there, and we're going to bring back our Evening Evergreen ink. For this, got a dark ink, so you may want to sort of start it off light and work up your colour. Kind of depends on the look you're going for, and you can almost get a bit of a sort of variegated look if you sort of apply more ink to certain portions. But oops, I was going to try and show you that on a plain white background, but it'll obviously use the other side. So you can see it's a bit darker in the centre, and it sort of fades out to the end. You could just keep going and apply more ink, just depending on the look that you want to achieve. So that is entirely up to you in terms of how much you want to add, if you want to add any at all, that is, of course. So all we have left to do is to assemble our card. So this vellum square, I'm just going to stick some seal somewhere in the middle. It's all going to get covered up with our embellishments, so there's no need to fret about trying to hide glue. Sticking down vellum, it's always a little tricky when it comes to that. Just trying to make sure that that's sort of straight and sort of in the middle. That will sort of do. Okay, sentiment's going to go on next, because that's going to determine where we put all our other little bits and bobs. So might put it a little, yeah. So the design on the doily will help you decide where middle is, which is about there. Okay, so then I like to position my large flowers next. Where's my wet glue? There it is. So I had to move things around just so I could spread out my punches so that I could have them all to hand to show you all. So just a bead of glue going onto the back of those flowers so that we can get them into position. And of course what I've done here is I've tried to stick with my rule of threes or odds or whatever. So I've done 3 and a 5 in terms of the flowers that we're doing today. Okay, so they're going to sit like that. Then we've got our small ones. Where's our one with the chopped off corner? That one. So I want to make sure that that's tucked in somewhere so that it's not noticeable. Okay, so again we just put a bead of glue on the back of those, because that's all we need. So this is our one that needs to be tucked in somewhere, so let's tuck it in under here, and no one will ever know. Sometimes it's helpful to use your pokey tool just to press into the centre of these, because you've just put some dimension onto them by moulding them into your hands, so it's quite nice to retain. Oops, let's try not to get glue all over you when you're picking up your little flowers. So again, we'll just use the pokey there to help us secure these into place. I'm going to have another one up here somewhere. Now, obviously you can go to town with this, sort of surround your sentiment if you wish. Entirely up to you. Now I'm trying to decide where I'm going to put this one. I think it's going to end up here. I've got this lovely little surrounding of our oval in there. Then we want to add our sprigs. So these will add a sort of like faux foliage. Wow, that's hard to say in a Brummy accent, that is. Right, let's see if we can coax this under there. Okay, so using the pokey tool there, it's just going to take the design beyond that sort of square doily. And really give it some extra interest. I'd like to put one at the top as well, just to balance it all out. I have a little hair stuck to my glue, but that's fine. And let's pop that one in under there. So now all those sprigs are in place using that pokey tool. The only thing left to do was to add the rhinestones, which I have done just there. And that's it. That's our lovely floral card featuring Fresh Freesia, Night of Navy and Evening Evergreen. Okay, loads of punches being used today to create our lovely dimensional flowers. This is the original. Okay, so you can just see the different way I've just laid those out. So, with this one, the sprigs went in first and then I built the flowers on top, but if you add the sprigs afterwards, you kind of they do extend out a little more, so that's just how that ended up. I think I prefer having the lighter colour on the big flowers with that nice dark accent, but you know, not much in it. But just imagine all the different colours you could apply to this particular layout, and of course all the sentiments too. So this is just a general hello there, and hello to all you guys. I hope everyone's alright, everyone's doing well. Okay, as always, links are in the description if you are interested in taking a closer look at anything that I've used today, and of course they are available in my Stampin' Up shop there as well. Alright, so that's it from me. Do stay safe, take care out there. See you all soon. Bye.